Right. I had already said earlier on that we are going to be looking at the grid reference in respect of the lines of latitude and the lines of longitude. The grid reference system. Right. I would like us to look at how the absolute position on the surface of the earth is determined and communicated in terms of the grid reference system. Now you will notice that one of the earliest, if not the earliest observatory for the movement of these celestial bodies and the rotation of the earth generally was at Greenwich, which is a part of the United Kingdom. That is way back then. So they came up with a system where they developed lines of latitude, as well as lines of longitude. Now, how does this work? Based there at the observatory in Greenwich, they had something like this. I hope this represents my earth as a, you know, this is how an earth looks like in terms of so from here, imagining that somebody is standing at the core, at the center of the earth. It was then postulated that a line towards the surface, representing here our equator, that is dividing the sphere, that is the Earth's sphere, into two hemispheres, so that the equator would represent the 0 degree, while the North Pole would represent 90, and the South Pole would also represent 90. So this would be 90 degrees north and 90 degrees south. So it stood something like that. And then imagining then from the core there, you would then have 1 degree as you move away, 1 degree north, and maybe another 1 degree south. And the same would happen on the left and on the right. Right. So you would then have your 1 degree north, your 1 degree south. And then you keep increasing until you get to about 45. Get to about 45 there. You get to about 45. And get to about 45. For instance, you remember that the Tropic of Capricorn is 23.5 degrees south, whilst the Tropic of Cancer is at about 23.5 degrees north. So that's how they then developed. Maybe let me take out some of these lines to avoid the clutter. Let's just work with one hemisphere for the time being. So we now have our, they keep increasing towards the south, and keep increasing towards the north. So when you have an increase towards the south, you have a similar increase towards the north. So that as I have said, this would be 45, another 45 there. So what then happened was they then joined, they then drew horizontal lines, something like that. Sorry. So they drew horizontal lines. Then the same would happen there. The same would happen there. And then like that. So that, as you can see, all the lines towards the north are increasing, and those towards the south are increasing. To the point then that imagine that you have, say, a city like Johannesburg, which say is located somewhere there. You would then say that this city is located, depending on, after checking of course, it lies beyond the 23.5 degrees south. Because you see the Tropic of Capricorn, which is the Capricorn is somewhere in Limpopo. Then the Tropic of Cancer is in the northern hemisphere, like that. So you have your Capricorn towards the south and your Cancer towards the north. As a result, then we are saying we can give the actual latitude position of this city or whatever landform it is, north or south of the equator. So that's as far as the longitude lines are actually established on the surface of the earth. And still on the same note, then it was postulated that standing at the North Pole as well as at the South Pole, you would then have the North Pole or the South Pole, whichever of the two you choose to talk about, so that it would form that center. Let's work with the North Pole, and then there would be a line. The first line was the Greenwich. Hey, what's my spelling like here? The Greenwich Meridian. Because a meridian, the other name for a meridian is a line of longitude. So, the Greenwich Meridian, which means the observation would be here at Greenwich. And then these other ones, the latitude lines, latitude, they are called parallels. As you can see, the tropic of the equator, the tropic of Capricorn, and all other latitudes, they are parallel to each other. So those ones are called parallel, while these ones are called meridians or lines of longitude. So from standing on the North Pole, you would then have this line running from the North Pole to the South Pole. So meridians are lines which run from North Pole to the South Pole. So they are called meridians. So in our example here, if I could try and draw a map of Africa, it would probably stand something like this. Forgive my drawing, please. Okay. Okay. Something like that. And so the line of longitude, that is the meridian line, the Greenwich Meridian, would run from Greenwich, which would be somewhere here in England. Then it runs right across from the north to the south. And then there would be other ones which would run to the east and to the west. They would run something like this. So all meridian lines join at the North Pole and they join at the South Pole. So as each line it runs, we then have those that run east, west, and they keep like that. And then, so that we have 180 degrees here. What line is then known as the international dateline? The international dateline. So the international dateline in this particular case is 180 degrees from the meridian, from the Greenwich Meridian, which basically means that between the Greenwich Meridian and the international dateline, you have this 180 degrees. All other positions then, they can be expressed either as east or west. We say east or west. So, for instance, a town like, say, Maputo in Mozambique would be so many degrees east, whilst a town like, say, you are talking about maybe Togo or those towns in America and Caribbean and so on, we then express them as so many degrees west. So that's as far as the lines of latitude and the lines of longitude are concerned. In our next lesson, we are going to be applying these lines of latitude and lines of longitude on an actual map and looking at how the absolute referencing system actually works on the map. Thank you very much for being part of this class. Remember to follow all the other classes that we have on our geography series. Thank you very much. Enjoy a good day.